Hey, what's up guys? It's Roy here. So today let's talk about this case right here. Now this case is pretty unique because it is, in my opinion, the best, cheapest case you can buy for your iPhone 14 Pro or your Pro Max. This case right here comes in at $8.99 on Amazon right now with Prime shipping. And that is an insane value because this is not just some cheapy case that you can find like on Wish or Alibaba or something like that. This is from ringke. This is the ringke Onyx, which in my opinion has been one of my favorite cases in previous years for other phones like the S22, the S21, the iPhone 13 Pro. You can name it. I've tested it, and I haven't tested it yet for the 14 Pro. But this case right here, guys, I am super stoked because for $8.99, this by far blows anything out of the water that is cheap that you can find. And like I said, it is with Prime shipping right now on Amazon. So looking at the Onyx case here, you can see the interior is pretty bland. There's nothing crazy going on. There is a few different types of materials. It's all TPU, but just different textures. The bumpers here definitely have reinforced bumpers for corner protection and drop protection. The inside as well, you can see some shininess going on here with the buttons, and that's because the buttons are metal, so you can kind of see that. Looks like you can even pop them out, but I'm not even going to do that because I don't have extra buttons to put in. So that's the interior. And then the exterior, let's talk about it once the phone is on. So looking at the case installed, it's a very slim case. Has a fantastic texture like all previous Onyx cases have had. Same goes with the sides as well. One thing that is definitely different from the previous Onyx cases is there is no protruding parts here on the corners like some of the previous Onyx cases are. So this one's completely flat, which I'm okay with. Gives it more of a traditional look. The back has that nice texture that is very grippy, like the previous Onyx cases. And then looking at the camera bump, you can see here that it is a very nice raised lip. It's a kind of a matte finish on the outside, but then when you look at the light, you can see that it is a glossy black right there. The lenses are nicely recessed in, so you're getting some great lens protection with this case. So looking at the side of the case with the power button here, you can see that that button is metal. It's not super shiny. It's kind of like a dull, kind of almost graphite silver, if that makes sense. But it is protruding out, so it does stick out a little bit. And the secret sauce with this case is definitely going to be the grippiness of the sides here. It has this just really nice grip. We do have some ringke branding right there as well. We do have some hole cutouts for the lanyards if you are a lanyard fan. But another thing to point out is that the corners do tiny stick out right there. As you can see, there's almost like that little spot right there, that line where it shows where it then just protrudes out just a tiny bit. But it is very minimal. It's not like it's a huge, big old cushion right there, but it does kind of help still keep it look very normal, but you can see it does stick out just a little bit. So that's that side there. Flipping down to the bottom, you can see we have some good cutouts for our lightning port and our speakers. So it looks pretty nice. And then on the volume up and down side, we do have, once again, shiny buttons that do stick out. We do have a nice cutout for the alert slider, and then just that grippiness all around. And then once again, 2 holes for a lanyard if you like to use a lanyard. And then going to the top, you can see that we do have that nice little camera bump sticking out there, which will probably make it a wobbly mess, but that is okay. And so that's just kind of the look all around. Now looking at the front, you can see that it is very slim once again. Like I said, you can see that it does stick out just a little bit right there. And the big thing to point out when you have the screen turned on is that you can see that it is tempered glass friendly as well. And that's the look there with the cutout for the speaker up top. Looking at the lips around the front, it is a lot more prominent on the forehead and chin of the phone. But then when you get to the side, there is a little bit of a lip going on here, but it is very flush against the screen. So I just wanted to point that out real quick because that is another part of this case that I like, because it does make it feel very slim and almost makes it feel like, at least on the sides, that there is no case installed. So next, let's go ahead and do the wobble test. So putting it face down, there is no shaking going on. And then putting it back down, there is some shaking going on. It's kind of the natural thing with the 14 Pro case. Nothing crazy here. It is a wobbly mess on the back, but not the front. Next, let's go ahead and do the clicky button test. So let's see how responsive these buttons are. So let's do the power button first. Volume up and down. Okay, so buttons are very responsive and tactile. One thing to point out though with the buttons is, let me see if I can put it by the shotgun mic. I don't know if you can hear that, but the buttons, well, at least the power button does, almost kind of moves a little bit. So it gives a little bit of a sound sometimes. Not the end of the world. I've come across other cases that have done this. And I think it's really because that button is removable. So I think that also gives it kind of that sound, but it's not the end of the world, but it does do that. So just something to point out in the review. And then last but not least, let's check out that ease of access to the alert slider. So as you can see there, very, very easy to get to it. No issues at all with that. And then last but not least, MagSafe. So let's see how it does here. So as you can see, no issues at all. It is MagSafe charging compatible. So big thumbs up there. But one thing to point out though is unfortunately there is no built-in magnets. So as soon as I lift up the phone and give it a tiny shake, it slides right off. So that's the only downside to the case, in my opinion, is that there is no built-in magnets. So if you do use MagSafe accessories in your vehicle, or for example, like on your desk, then you're definitely going to want to install one of those MagSafe rings that you can put on to give it that extra grip. So there we have it, guys. There is the Ringke Onyx case. And so for $8.99, like I was saying, this is by far the best case I can recommend for someone that's on a budget. It's a name brand case. It's one of my favorite cases of all time in general. So it's definitely up there on my list. So for the price, it's got to be up there on your list. So hit that like button if you like this video. If you loved it, please subscribe. Ring that notification bell for up-to-date content. So be safe, God bless, and we'll see you on the next one.